Hello, this is lesson 2, Mystery Object Explained. I know you guys are dying to know what this mystery object is, so we are going to find out today. So yesterday, you looked at this object virtually and you made some observations, you collected some data, and you asked some questions. So today we're going to be sharing out what you found, and I will be revealing the identity of the mystery object. So here were some observations that I saw in your responses in yesterday's Google Doc. Some observations were there's a darker line running down the middle. It's small and oval shape. Somebody said the first pic looks like it was taken in nature because of the green background. It's brown or tan. The length, a few people are confused about this, but the length of one mystery object seemed to be about 0.5 centimeter or 5 millimeters. It can fit on your finger, was another good observation. And the mass, you had to do a little math to get the mass, but the mass was 0.005 grams. So it was 0.04 grams, but that was for 8 of them, so you had to divide that out. That was some great observations I saw. Here were some questions that I saw. Is it thin? What's inside it? Can I eat it? If I planted it, would it grow? Maybe I can answer a couple of these questions right now. It is very thin. I kept dropping these all day. I didn't hold it in the other direction yesterday, but it's super, super thin like paper. I'm going to try to hold it for you on camera, but I keep dropping it because it's so small and thin. Here we go. So it's very thin. If I were to hold it that way, you can see as thin as paper, really. So very thin, yes. Can you eat it? I don't recommend eating anything in science class. I don't know if it's particularly edible. If I planted it, would it grow? That sounds like a great experiment idea. We could try that. What's inside it? I don't know that there's a way to even look inside it. It's kind of brittle. Somebody asked if it can be squished. I think if I tried to squish it, it would just break in half. Is it see-through? It is not see-through. Where is this found? They can be found in nature. I think if I told you, I actually bought it off of Amazon, to be completely honest, but they can be found in nature in certain areas. How many would it take to get to a pound? I'm not sure. I'd have to do the math. What does it smell like? What does the surface feel like? The surface is kind of smooth and hard, but also it's very thin. So hopefully that answers some of the questions that you can't answer because you can't see it in person right now. All right, so here were some claims. These were some of the ideas you guys had. You wrote a CER at the bottom of your doc, and the two main ones I saw were it's a bean and it's a seed. I would say the majority of people said it's a seed. So some other claims that I heard were it's a bean seed, it's a sunflower seed, it's part of a plant, it's an oat, it's a piece of dirt, it's a grain, it's a piece of granola. So these were all really, really good ideas. And I'll tell you, a lot of you guys are on the right track. So it is a seed, but what kind of seed is it? There's lots of different kinds of seeds in the world. So what kind of seed could this be? Well, I'm going to let you know. These are actually giant sequoia seeds. I got it from this package, and this is what it is. It's a giant sequoia seed. So what we're going to do in today's activity, we're going to uncover our first phenomena. So what I want to know is, how does this little teeny tiny seed turn into one of these giant sequoia trees? How does that happen? So here's a picture of me. I went on a trip to California with my husband after we got married, and I went to the Muir Woods, and they had these giant sequoia trees, and that's me standing in one. That's a zoomed out picture of that same tree. These are some more pictures of sequoia forests. Here's a couple of kids around one. This is one that actually was carved out and that has a large enough hole in the trunk of it that a car or an SUV can drive through it, which is pretty crazy. And this is just kind of a picture of the woods. So we're going to try to figure out how this itty bitty teeny tiny seed turns into a giant sequoia tree. And I dropped it again. Oh no. Okay, look at it later. So what we're going to do first is we're going to watch a video, and while you're watching the video, you're going to take some notes, kind of similar to what we did yesterday. Today's notes are you're going to take observations. So any specific observations you can find in the video. You're going to write down some questions and initial ideas. So ideas that might answer some of the questions you have, or ideas of experiments we could do, or any ideas that you have about this phenomena. So we're going to watch the video, and I'll play it here on the video, but I also put the link on Google Classroom in case the audio is hard to hear. So here we go.
Hey, turn around. What are you showing us?
How big this tree grew from something this size.
Ah,
Wow.
the female pine cone.
Yep, and this is the male part.
Nice.
All right, so feel free to watch that video again if you need to. And you can watch as many times as you need to record some observations, what you see, questions that you have, and initial ideas, some thoughts that you have about this video. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to tell you a couple of facts about the sequoia tree. You're going to jot these down in your note sheet as well. So the last slide, the observations, questions, and ideas, as well as these sequoia tree facts, they're all going on the Google Doc 002, Mystery Object Explained. And so here's a couple facts. Sequoia trees are the largest trees in the world. The largest sequoia tree is actually named General Sherman. I don't know who named it, but that's what its name is. And it's found in California, and it's estimated to be about 2,000 years old. Its height is 274.9 feet, and it's about 83 meters tall. So this is, in general, the height of these kind of sequoia trees. The diameter, they can be wider than 36 feet or 11 meters wide. So I want you to just jot those facts down here, because your last task is to kind of try to wrap your head around how big is that really? So for me, I know a foot is a ruler, right? I'm looking for my rulers. But a foot's about this big, right? It's smaller than about as big as your Chromebook, probably. So how big would be 274.9 feet tall? How big would be 36 feet in diameter? Like, I can't wrap my mind around it. So what I want you to do is I want you to try to compare it to something that you know. So for example, don't use this one because this was my example, but I said that's as tall as 47.5 of me. So I'm 5 feet 10 inches tall. So it would take 47.5 of me stacked on top of one another to be as tall as a sequoia tree. So pick an object, tell me how tall would it be, or you could tell me the diameter, how wide it would be, and compare it to something interesting. So you could Google the size of Shaquille O'Neal and figure out how many Shaquille O'Neals it would be. You could figure out how many Hydro Flasks tall it would be. Anything that you're interested in, be creative, but you're gonna have to do a little bit of math to tell me how many of some object it would take to be as tall or as wide as a sequoia tree. After you finish that, you're gonna submit that doc. So you're gonna submit doc 004, 002. And don't forget to mark it as done, submit it. Tomorrow, oh no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. We're going to have the day off, the whole weekend off. But on Monday, when you return to school, we are going to get to actually talk about this in person and do some modeling on the computer. So when I see you in person, I'll let you check out these sequoia seeds. I'll have a couple examples that I can kind of show you. And maybe as you walk in, you can kind of look at it on your way in. And then we're going to start modeling how the heck this teeny tiny little seed turns into a giant sequoia tree that is so, so huge. So that's our plan. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy High Five Friday. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.